classified. Bringing to us your weekend review. It is time for your main newscast for today, Sunday, September 5th, 2021. My name is Josh Vance Slackman, and without further ado, we get to the news in details. Ex-DNT minister advising Guyana left his own country's gas sector on knife's edge, current energy minister says. If governments recklessly implement policies and rush into poorly constructed deals, there can be dire consequences for current and future generation. This very lesson is what the current administration of Trinidad and Tobago said it was made to learn since taking office. In fact, TNT's Energy Minister Stuart Young in July 2021 was keen to note during a post-cabinet briefing that the country's gas industry was particularly on a knife's edge due to the decision of his predecessor and former government by extension. He stressed that the Keith Rowley-led administration has had to work tirelessly to correct those past mistakes that dust the energy sector. In explaining the state of affairs that crippled the CARICOM state, Young revealed that the country's national gas company ended 2020 with a 2.1 billion Trinidad and Tobago dollars loss. This was not due to the crippling effects of the COVID-19 pandemic or a massive breakdown in equipment. Rather, it was the consequences of what Young described as a lopsided deal and policy that were associated with a natural gas supply contract. Meanwhile, Health Minister reminded Guyanese of a long-term COVID-19 effect and says unit being set up to treat patients with prolonged illness. Dr. Frank Anthony announced that the first of several facilities is being established at the Georgetown Public Hospital to treat persons who have recovered from the COVID-19 virus but are suffering long-term ailments caused by the infection. He noted that the PAS of COVID-19 describes the effect of a COVID-19 which persists for weeks or sometimes months after a person was initially infected with the disease. According to the minister, lasting symptoms of the disease include fatigue, breathlessness, brain fog, lack of focus, chest pain, joint or muscle pains, anxiety or depression. Dr. Anthony said that the health ministry has been observing patients who have recovered from the COVID-19 but are now experiencing prolonged symptoms. An agreement was signed for the removal of shipwrecks in the Demerara River. The river traffic on the Demerara River will soon flow more freely after a $787.6 million contract was signed between the Ministry of Public Works and the coal contractors for the removal of the 3 shipwrecks in the river. The contract was signed in the ministry's boardroom on Friday by Director General of the Maritime Administration Department Stephen Thomas and the representative from Cooley Contractors. Minister Bishop Juan Ejil, who joined the signing virtually, said that the wrecks have proven hazardous. And he explained that due to the location of the wrecks, the channel has become narrow. Minister Ejil noted that this would complement the establishment of the new Demerara Harbour Bridge. A decision yesterday by ranks of the City Constab to conduct a patrol during the wee hours of the morning around the Stabroek Market led them to capture one of 3 thieves who had reportedly broken into a stall and stole close to $2 million in silver and gold jewelry. Not only did they capture him, but they were able to recover the stolen items. Investigators reported that as the ranks were conducting their foot patrol, they heard banging noises around 4 hours coming from inside of the market. They reportedly opened the gates and entered. This move caught 3 men by surprise as they began to run in a bid to escape through the meat section of the market. The ranks gave chase and caught one of them who had dropped a blue gift bag while running away. The others managed to escape. They found a transparent plastic bag containing cash and a quantity of gold and silver jewelry stashed in his crotch. 26-year-old Roshana Lowenfield is a trained teacher attached to the New Diamond Grove Primary School. Lowenfield was born and raised in the community of Alboystong in Georgetown, and growing up in Alboystong wasn't easy at all, she says. She says the idea for the Educate Me summer camp came to her in June 2020, but it was because she saw how her neighbors and close relatives were struggling with helping their children with their schoolwork, and thus designed the program to help parents have an idea of some sort of knowledge in helping their children and being involved in their education, especially by learning more about the school's curriculum and how it works. She also noted that parents benefit by becoming more confident about the value of school involvement and also develop a greater appreciation for the important role they play in their children's education. You could read that story titled Educator Creates Program to Help Benefit Parents During the Pandemic in today's edition of the Kaieteur News. We tell you now that stricter guidelines needed to combat pandemic in Guyana according to Dr. Cummins. Former Minister within the Ministry of Health and now current a Partnership for National Unity Alliance for Change Member of Parliament, Dr. Karen Cummins, is calling on the government to implement stricter guidelines to combat the spread of the COVID-19 in Guyana. Speaking at the recent virtual press briefing held by the Afternoon AFC on Thursday, Dr. Cummins warned that the recently updated COVID-19 emergency measures will only put Guyanese at the greater risk of contracting COVID-19. The updated measures have paved the way for casinos, betting shop, and cinemas to open at the capacity of 60%. The entertainment hubs were previously allowed to operate only at a 40% capacity. In addition to that, the restrictions for concession stands at cinemas has been removed, food entities, buffet dining are no longer prohibited, and even the capacity per table has been increased from 4 to no more than 6 for restaurants. This comes even as cases of the deadly disease are being recorded in the hundreds almost daily. As such, Dr. Cummins noted that when measured against the country's rapidly rising COVID-19 statistics, one can only assert that the Ministry of Health and its team should take a step back. And before we wrap things up here on the Kaieteur Radio for your main newscast, let me turn my attention to the page 7 of the Kaieteur News that is dedicated of being blunt. The Wales gas-to-energy project was slated to cost $400 million under the coalition government. Now it is $900 million under the PPP government, so said former Minister Patterson, as headlined by us on September 3rd. We say don't worry, by the time the PPP government finish with this waiting white elephant of a project, it will cost the original $400 million plus the $900 million estimated by the PPP. In fact, it is likely to cost more if the crooked PPP leaders get their way. After all, it is Guyanese taxpayers who pay the billions of US dollars bill. And that's the news at the moment. I'm Joshua Van Sleckman. Thank you for joining us. Have a great remainder of your Sunday morning.